AI infrastructure company Upscale AI is reportedly in talks to nab its third funding round since launching just 7 months ago, according to Bloomberg. This latest round, which aims to raise around $180 million to $200 million, would value the company at about $2 billion. The company announced a $200 million Series A in January and a $100 million seed round in September, when it first launched. Investors in the company include Tiger Global Management, Zora Innovation, and Primji Invest. Reed Hastings, the co-founder and chairman of Netflix, is leaving the company's board when his term expires this summer. Hastings is stepping aside to focus on philanthropy and other pursuits, the company said in a letter to shareholders. The departure was revealed in the company's first quarter earnings report published Thursday. Hastings will officially leave the board when his term is up in June, according to the filing. AI video generation startup Luma has launched Innovative Dreams, a production company built in partnership with Wonder Project, a streaming service that produces religious films and TV on Amazon Prime. The tie-up's first show will be called The Old Stories, Moses, starring British actor Ben Kingsley, and set to launch this spring on Prime Video. More than 3 years after the emergence of generative AI, AI-assisted coding remains by far the most popular and lucrative use case for the technology. Although multiple companies, including Anthropic, maker of Claude Code, as well as Cursor and Cognition, are already vying for dominance, investors believe there is room for at least one more player. Few venture firms have bet more aggressively on AI than Sequoia Capital, and it isn't slowing down. The Silicon Valley stalwart has raised roughly $7 billion for a new fund, according to Bloomberg. Sequoia declined TechCrunch's request for comment. The money will go toward what the firm calls its expansion strategy, essentially its late-stage investing arm, focused on the US and Europe, and it's nearly double Sequoia's last comparable fund, a $3.4 billion vehicle raised in 2022. Pakistan's current account surplus widened sharply in March from the previous month, the news reported, supported by lower goods and services trade deficits and strong remittances. State Bank of Pakistan data released on Thursday showed the surplus rose to $1.07 billion in March, up from $231 million in February, though it was down 16% from a year earlier. It marked the third consecutive monthly surplus this year. The last 72 hours have acquired unusual significance. Against the backdrop of US-Israel aggression targeting Iran, Pakistan's efforts to end the war and help the two sides work towards an agreement have reached a critical stage. Through constant telephonic interaction with Washington's principals, alongside the Tehran visit, Pakistan's COASCDF Field Marshal Asim Munir has led the process, while Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and the Foreign Minister have worked the political and diplomatic channels to build trust and understanding. The Prime Minister is on a 3-nation visit to Saudi Arabia and Turkey to keep key friends in the region informed and engaged. Colorado Springs. The astronauts who flew around the moon and back in NASA's landmark Artemis II mission said their re-entry into Earth's atmosphere was smooth. But the mission's commander described some charring on the Orion capsule's critical heat shield. The 4 Artemis II astronauts splashed down in the Pacific Ocean last Friday, capping a nearly 10-day test flight in which they reached the farthest distance in space any humans have gone before, as their gumdrop-shaped Orion capsule sailed around the moon's far side. BAMENDA. Pope Leo blasted leaders who spend billions on wars and said the world was being ravaged by a handful of tyrants. In unusually forceful remarks in Cameroon on Thursday days after US President Donald Trump attacked him on social media. Leo, the first US Pope, also decried leaders who used religious language to justify wars and urged a decisive change of course, in a meeting in the biggest city in Cameroon's Anglophone regions, where a simmering conflict going back nearly a decade has left thousands dead. Jakarta, 2 crew members and 6 passengers were killed when a private helicopter crashed in dense forest on Indonesia's Borneo Island, the Transport Ministry said Friday. The Airbus helicopter, owned by local firm Matthew Air Nusantara, lost contact with air traffic control about 5 minutes after takeoff in the West Kalimantan province on Thursday morning.